Good afternoon. I'm Emily Noonan. I'm a superstar consultant based in Lincolnshire. And I just put a little introduction on earlier on for anyone who doesn't know me. I have a really busy life. I work full time, absolutely love my job. I love Scentsy, but I have no intention of leaving my job either. So I really need to make Scentsy work around the busy lifestyle that I've got. You know, I've got two girls, I'm running around to clubs, my husband's actually serving in the forces, so there's times when I'm doing it all on my own. You know, we get by. But it does mean that parties are a really fantastic way for me to get the scent under people's noses, get to meet new people. And if you have 5 turn up to a party, how long would it take you to get 5 customers a month? Do put a comment in. If you're watching this on replay, please still put a comment in. How long would it take you to find 5 new customers and get your tester bag under their nose? Actually get them smelling the scents. So for me, 2-hour parties, I'm going to talk about in-person parties, but I will try any kind of party. I just had a really successful at my first WhatsApp party. Thank you to Lisa and Laura for the training they shared on that, because it was fantastic. I had a really good party off that. I felt nervous doing it because I've never done it before and it's fast-paced and it is a bit nerve-wracking. But I had a go and I chose a friend. I asked a friend actually for that and said, would you do me a favour? I'd really like to trial this and you might get some free Scentsy or half price Scentsy. And she did. But my in-person parties, I've done a few and I think it took some kind of going to find out actually what rhythm did I want to go by. So I think if I think back to my first party, I didn't really even have in my mind how long it was going to take, and it took ages. It took far too long. I haven't got that amount of time. People haven't got that amount of time. And if you're doing it on an evening, the longer it is, the more Prosecco might get consumed, the harder it is. So now I always advertise parties, in-person parties, as a 2-hour party. And that's plenty enough time for me to show the products, talk about them, have some time for them to mingle. So if my hosts put some snacks on, there's a toilet break, and then time to get orders in at the end. So I do these little, very simple, literally I got clipboards on Amazon because I know some people have got Scentsy ones, but they weren't in consultant store when I started doing parties. So I just got a 6-pack on Amazon, and there's not an awful lot to them. Now I've just moved house. If I showed you the other side, I've finally got a Scentsy office. If I showed you the other side, it is absolute chaos. So I've been unpacking boxes frantically this morning to try and find my party clipboards to show you. So I have got an old love it sheet. I always make sure that I include one of these. And I tell them this is so that you know the scents that you like and ones that you might want to avoid, because we've got these scents in our catalogue for the next 6 months or however long is left on the catalogue. They get a catalogue and an order form. So the order form, when I give this to them, and remember, buy pens. The last thing you want to do is be scrabbling around for pens. So get pens. I just got a cheap pack of pens on Shein. So they get a pen with it as well. So when I give them their pack, I say, this is the catalogue, some information we're going to talk through, but can you just put your details on the top of the order form? So I know some people use a separate sheet to record, or you might do a drawing, something like that. I really need to keep things as simple as possible. I often don't have time to be printing things off, so that works for me. And if they order, I've got the details there ready. So just copy details on there. Even if they don't order, I'm going to collect all this back in, so I'm going to have the details to be able to contact them. The game that I always do is Scentsy Bingo. So we'll come on to that, but this is just something, I'll share the template, but it's something really basic that I made on Canva, so it's nothing fancy. We then have, I've had these ages, I had loads printed. I probably want to update my branding now, but it just says what is Scentsy, and it gives them a quick idea about actually what Scentsy is. Now I did get mine double-sided printed, and so it does have about my recommend a friend information on the other side. So I always say take that away, because it's like my business card. I do have business cards with me as well, but this is just really simple. Take that away. They're taking away my recommend a friend information at the same time. I always start my parties with my Luna, which probably I won't have to hand because my wax bag's in the house. But say, let's pretend this one's Luna. And so I always start with Luna. Luna is our best-selling scent. And for me, I've just found Luna's a really good benchmark for people to see what they like or not. And it got such a fantastic blend. I think sometimes as a consultant, I completely overlook promoting Luna. But it's got the berries, it's got floral, it's got sandalwood. So it's got a really good mix. And I find starting with Luna, often people like it. And so they then compare everything to Luna. So they're comparing all the other scents to our best-selling scent. So for me, I find that works. Then as I'm going through, so I always start with kind of a little welcome about me. I tell them who I am. I kind of say that I am a busy mum. I discovered Scentsy, okay, it must be kind of 10 years ago now, probably more. I've been using it for like too many years. I think I'd been using Scentsy like 8 years before I joined. And so I explained that, I was a customer for a long time. And then, eventually I decided I wanted to share that safer scent system with my friends and family. And it's just kind of snowballed from there. I also tell them about my highlights with Scentsy at that point. So as we're kind of sitting down, doing that introduction, I talk about, what's been a highlight for me. So, I do this as a hobby. I really enjoy doing it. But actually, I earned an incentive trip to Hawaii. People are like, what? Like, they paid for you to go to Hawaii? Yeah, like I earned it. I had to work really hard. But that was, a side product of doing something that I love, that I went to Hawaii. So it grabs their interest. And then when I come to talking later on about booking their own parties, mentioning about the opportunity, they're thinking about the highlights. And I understand that highlight is a big highlight. It's the only incentive trip I ever earned. But it does get them thinking. It could be that, it paid for Christmas last year. Or actually I was able to put money towards going on our first family holiday abroad. So it just sets the scene of actually, what does Scentsy mean to you? What has it brought to you? As I then go through the tester pots, I'll pull out and I've got, Amazon Rain. This is my best-selling fragrance flower. Now, I keep an old fragrance flower and I take it with me, like this one. You can't smell it in the room. It's about 2 years old, but you can definitely smell the Luna on there. I would never take a full fragrance flower because I don't know if you've seen, if this oil spills, it's corrosive. And I have seen someone's car where it like ruined the carpet in the car. So never take an open fragrance flower in a car. But one that's been used, pretty dried out, but I can still smell it. I also always take a new fragrance flower because I can pass that one round and say, it's lovely. Or if you haven't got that, then I just take the flower out of the box, but I get the products into people's hands. I want them to feel the quality. I want them to feel what it is. If you went into a shop, if you were looking to buy a top, you're not going to not touch it, are you? You're going to want to feel it in your hands. That's what we do. It's part of our senses. So I take the flower out and pass it round. And I explained to them, this is my best-selling fragrance flower personally is Amazon Rain. People love Amazon Rain. It's not a scent I would choose from the catalogues. If you read the description, it's maybe not when you're going to choose, but if you smell it, it's beautiful. So I pass the test around and then I pass them the flower around and I tell them, if you feel the petals, they're delicate, but it's almost like a soft, smooth rub. It's if you rub it, it's really tactile. The solar wood that Scentsy use in these feels lovely. And so I pass that around to say, so there's no fragrance, just have a look, have a feel at what it is. It gets a bit weightier when the oil soaks up into there. Reed diffusers, traditional ones, you probably have the stick ones at home, but they get messy. You've got to keep flipping the reeds. And if you drop that oil, you need to wipe it up really quickly. So with this, we don't have that. It soaks up into the petals. It holds the fragrance. So these last, in the catalogue, it says 60 days. But personally, I change mine, 2, 3, 4 months. You will find the scent holding ability is really good. And so I'm giving the benefits. I'm not just saying, we do reed diffusers. I'm telling them why. Why is this so good? Why should they swap a £6 B&M reed diffuser, a traditional stick diffuser, for one of our £24 fragrance flowers? So it's going round, they're feeling it, it's in their hands. I then might talk about something like Fluffy Fleece comes out. Oh, Fluffy Fleece, also available in Fragrance Flower, but I love it in Scentsy Fresh. So I start talking about the products, about actually, oh, this is available in this, and it naturally brings the products in. So I can either show it if I've got it to hand, or I can say, these are in the catalogue here, and now we've got a much simpler catalogue. That makes it a little bit easier. Clothesline. Now, Clothesline is our best-selling laundry scent, and it's a scent that, for me, I didn't use for years until I won a bar at Excel SFR, and you had to do something. I don't know if it was like, did we do it on Twitter or something? But then it must have been Twitter, because I remember Sarah Jo Hall then messaged and went, come and collect your free Clothesline bar. And I thought, are you kidding? Clothesline? Anyway, I took it home, and eventually I put it in my warmer, and I'd been like a consultant a couple of years by then, always turned my nose up at Clothesline because I just smell it in the bar and thought, that is so strong, that is not nice. Put it in my warmer, and I had to eat my words. It's now one of my favourite. I was like, in my kitchen, and it smells like fresh washing. This is amazing. So I'm like, if you love fresh washing, this is the scent. And I think I get excited about the products. If I'm not excited about the products, they're not going to be excited about the products. But if I'm like, oh, Clothesline, who loves fresh laundry? Right, have a smell of this. It does smell strong. So if you like a strong wax, if you want, if you don't like subtle scents, you want a strong, clean linen, fresh smell, then you should probably try it in a Fragrance Flower as well, because that is a strong Fragrance Flower. And personally, when I open a Clothesline Fragrance Flower, it doesn't go in my downstairs toilet first. It goes in the family bathroom upstairs for a week, and then it comes down, because I find it really strong. But I tell people that. So those that love a strong flower are going to be like, I want that flower. Yeah, that's one for me. So I'm going through, I'm passing around the testers. Now, I take all of my testers with me, and I know some party people will say, like, take 20. But every time I've tried to like not show all the scents and try to just do a selection of the fragrance families, someone's got this like love it sheet and they're like, where's the rest? I want the rest. So I tend to do my parties with the whole bag. But I can say if you're getting nose blind, and I did put some pictures on earlier, and I did think, I don't know if other people do this, but I have a coffee bean jar, and it resets scent. So it's a lot of people, I see it in, if you go in a perfume store, they'll often have little plastic things of coffee beans to reset scent. So that comes out as well. So people, if they're getting nose blind, and I can say, look, if you know, like kind of halfway through, I point them back to the sheet, and I'm like, where are your ticks? Let me know. And I go around them, where are your ticks? I'm like, oh, yours are all in bakery and you're not liking florals. So you could then separate them out into fragrance families, or take them in fragrance families. Do yourself a bit of a favour. I'm last minute at everything, literally like pulling stuff together as I'm going out the door. But then you can see, so I can make recommendations at that point and say, right, you probably want to try blueberry cheesecake, and I can start kind of helping them on more of a one-to-one. But I take them all. You could do a few. You could then say, look, the bag's here, put it in the middle of the floor of the table. If you want to smell them all, or you just want to pick out some of these, because people will always go like, oh, have you got that pineapple mango? Or they'll always be asking. So you could do it in that way as well. Where am I at? Even warmers I will pass round. I did get this little bag. Try and make my life easier at events. This bag isn't the right bag yet. I've not found the right solution. But, unboxing things, parties and events, I'm like, I get sick of unboxing things. So I did buy this. It must have been on Shein. Thinking, I could put all my like warmers in it, my mini warmers, and then just pull them out. It does kind of work. But I do always take the tabletop, because I find this is easier for me to have plugged in, and then I take a wall plug so I can pass the bag in. I'm putting that product in their hands, because I don't know if your garden centres have got Scentsy rip-off warmers, so there's like the Nova warmer that we had. I see that in all of those. Alicia, these Like It Love It sheets are not current season, sorry. At the beginning, so I've moved house and I haven't got all my prints sorted out, but there will be Like It Love It sheets. We'll find them and we'll put them in here. Yeah, so I want to hand through that warmer, because I've seen them at garden centres and I go and pick them up off the shelf, and I'm like, they're not the weight, they're not the same quality that our products have. So I want to talk about the lifetime warranty. I want to talk about, how great the warmers are, that we don't use bulbs. And I do that at the beginning, actually. That's the thing I say, we're a safer scent system. We don't use flames. our wax lasts so long because we're not burning away the oils in that, and then we've got a higher oil scent loading ability in the wax that we do use, so we can pass around a wax bar as well. Get it in the hands. You know, this one's the new Velvet Cashmere Woods. I thought this was a bit of a subtle scent. Put it in my hallway, and I've got a really big hallway, and as soon as I walk through the door I can smell it. It's beautiful. But I'll say, you know, these are 8 cubes. I use personally 1 cube a week. I might change it a little bit more often sometimes, but generally I still only use 1 cube a week. But I'll ask my party host who uses Scentsy, or anyone else who's there, how often do you change your cubes? So I'm not telling them. Our wax is long lasting, and this is, you know, I change mine once a week. I'm actually putting it to them because I know a lot of my customers don't change theirs weekly. Before I joined, that 1 little cube of wax, I kept it in that bad boy for like 8 weeks. Like, I absolutely eked it out. Now I'm like, I can smell it's changed and it's not the scent that I want. But it helps them to see that that 1 cube, £1 a week, what you're spending on a candle if you're using a candle. So pass that wall plug warm around, the feeling, the quality. I don't pass the standard warmers around, but I have that on display, plugged in, so that they can see that with the waxing that we've chosen. But I do take one of these because I often take a few different shades to give them an idea, and then that's easier for me to be plugging in and displaying what they look like. Sometimes they do look different, don't they? I will take things like fans. If you've seen my picture that I put on earlier, I just had a little tray that I think I got from Asda. I think it's probably a Stacey Solomon tray. But again, passing round scent pods. No one, well, I always feel when I'm sharing this online and I say it's a fan and it goes, the air goes through the pod and it's filled with bees and it gives scent, but actually smelling it, having a shake and a feel of it is so much better. So anything that you can pass around, buddies, buddy clips, these that, you know, especially coming to Christmas, buddies are a good seller if I can get them in people's hands, if they can smell the scent through them and understand what I mean. And I'll pass around one of the buddies and say, you know, my little girl, when she gets into bed, I can smell when she's been snuggling her Bailey bunny, because she smells of the scent. It's comforting and it's lovely. So I'm really trying to kind of create that emotion and the scent experience that we experience. So we've got kind of things around, really simple. I'm literally just passing the testers around and talking about the different products. I then move on to a game. So when we've kind of done that, that might be an hour, probably normally about an hour I think we spend on that. We then go to the bingo game. So this is a nice time for me to be able to do a prize, and it doesn't have to be a Scentsy prize. Like I always say this to my ladies, it could be a box of Maltesers, it could be a 10% off voucher, which might encourage somebody to, you know, to spend, and giving up maybe a little bit of your commission to do that. But do whatever is in, you know, in your remit. It might be a sample pack, it might be a cube sample. Now I do tend to do a line and a full house of this. So a line gets a scent circle, full house gets a wax bar. So it's quite simple. But why I want them to do this, I want them to whittle down what are their 9 favourite scents. That's a 6 bar, that's a 6 pack, plus extras that they love. And so they often take maybe 10 minutes doing this when I say, right, now put your 9 favourites on here. They now know the 9 that they love, and they can, you know, take that away with the scent sheet as a reminder. These were the 9 they absolutely loved. And then I put all the testers back in my tester bag, and we just do a little game of bingo. I'll just ruffle them round. This is pink sugarberry mint, my old tester bag. You know, I just go through pulling them out until someone gets a line or a house. So for me, that is a simple game that isn't just a game for the sake of a game. It's helping them decide what they really, really love. Other games that you can do, you could do guess how many tester pots. Now, I was trying to find, I've got a lovely glass pumpkin jar, like bowl that I got from Home Bargains. I think it was about a £5. You could put, you know, your summer testers, put them in a jar. It doesn't have to be a pumpkin pot. It could just be a jar from your kitchen. This used to be my spaghetti jar. Fill it with testers and do a guess how many testers. Something really simple with things that you have got at home. I don't you know, I don't want you to have to feel like you've got to go and spend money to do these kind of things. So just grab an old jar, put the testers in. You could also do, and I should have printed it out, but I'll put one in that I think Lisa and Laura shared. I've been using it on the WhatsApp party. Guess how many scent circles? Just print it off. Just print it off, send it on the phones, put it on an iPad, but just do that game, guess how many, and then have the other one printed off or show on your phone to say, there's this many on it. So, you know, you could be creative in that way. You could also do a scavenger hunt. So it's a good way of getting them to go through your catalogue. So you could set as many questions as you like, but one of them you might say, let me think, what have we got? Okay, what scent has got winter cherry, vanilla orchid and sandalwood? Does anybody know? Anyone watching now? Winter cherry, vanilla orchid, sandalwood. Which scent has got that in? So you're actually then getting them into the catalogue where you want them and looking through all the different scents. So people get a bit competitive. So they'll be, you know, looking through, and now it's really lovely because we've just got them on. No, it's not page and pages, is it anymore? So it's much easier to see. I think I can see comments. Anyone guessed that yet? Winter cherry, vanilla orchid, sandalwood. It's beautiful. It's strong. It's the new old-fashioned evening. So it's a good way of getting them through that. You could do that if you've got a team. Do that as a team scavenger hunt. You know, we've done that kind of thing on Scentsy calls before. And you could also, I don't know if you've got the game Dobble. Yeah, sorry, I'm so unorganised. But the game Dobble, I've taken that one before because we've got a Harry Potter one. So it's not one that I bought, it's one that my girls have got. And you have to, like you say, it'd be a wand or Harry's glasses, or there's different, and you've got to, whoever gets it first, it's like a game of match, but they're all different sizes. And that's a great way for me to actually say, oh, we also partner with Disney, with Universal. I can tell them about the collaborations that we've got. And again, then just point them in the direction of the, you know, the catalogue, looking at the different LTOs and collections that we have as well. So there's lots of different ways that you could use things around your home that actually would work. I know I think Jen Audette, she does a card game and she buys a pack of cards to every place she's been to. And then she mixes all the cards up, and then she's like, oh, you know, this is when we went to, you know, Greece. This is when we went to here. This is when we went to, you know, Switzerland on a cruise. And she uses it in that way as well. So I think I looked, when I wanted to start doing parties, games was one of the things that terrified me, because I looked up YouTube videos for Scentsy and there was like people wrapping testers and sweets in cling film, and I thought, oh, that's not going to work. Someone's going to be like, oh no, that's wasteful. And I thought, yeah, I would think the same. So looking at things that actually just keep it really, really simple. You could do theme nights. So I have recently put out on my page about booking theme nights. And I've said like an open house at my house. No one's taken me up on that yet, but I've never done my own open house ever. And I've just moved house and I'm like 30 minutes away from where I used to live. So I've booked an open house because I want people to know they can still shop with me and that I still want them to be my customers. And I am going to have on display, I went to Hobbycraft. I don't know if you've seen these tiny little pumpkins. These are cute. £1. And I think this was, might have been £4.50, £4.99. But I already have some acrylic paints. I'm like, they're going to last ages. They're probably going to dry out before I use them. These were £8 in the works. I thought I could offer, you know, to my host, I'll bring the paints. If anyone wants to do this, they're £5, but we could do a themed night doing painting our own pottery kind of things. Like, they're cute. You're not supposed to put a candle in, so I would get a pack of battery candles to go in there. But just so it might add something else. You could do a kind of, I don't know if you've done paint and wine nights. I will find the picture of the canvas that my husband did of me. So we did a family night of this. I mean, it was funny. I wouldn't say it looked anything like me. Halloween me, probably. But these £4 for 3 canvases are only small, so they're not going to take a long time. But again, if you wanted to add in a theme, that's something that you could potentially do. I also always take as well, like a tablecloth. This is just like a really lovely, I'm into like linens and that kind of thing. I think I got this in, it'll have been Home Sense because I get everything in Home Sense, but just something nice. I have got, like, for events, the stretchy black lycra type tablecloths, but often I'm just popping something on a coffee table, or, you know, a couple of, sometimes I've done it on the boxes that I've brought because there hasn't been a coffee table. So I just like to have something nice that I can put it on just to kind of set my display out a little bit. If you're doing something around October and you've got little things like this around your house, grab them in and, you know, just make it look a little bit seasonal. It's really easy to do. Right, so you've done that, you've done your party. I talk then, we can kind of talk about bundles and saves, because I want to try and encourage people. Remember, we have got buy 5 get 1 free as a consultant perk. So when I'm talking about bundles, I will sell it in that tonight, as a party special, if you buy 5 wax bars, I can give you your 6 bar free. So again, it's a perk for them to actually think, oh, well, I might as well order here then because I'm going to get a free bar. So use your bundle and saves. Don't forget about your buy 5 get 1 6. Only available on Workstation. Remember, you won't find that on PWS anymore, on your website anymore. I want to try and get future bookings. I'm going to tell my host that actually you're going to get potentially another half price item if someone here books a party as well. So they're going to try and encourage people, you know, oh, Susie, you used to love doing parties and having people around, or, you know, everyone goes to her house. Okay, do you fancy booking a party? Have your diary with you, have your calendar with you. Don't let that go cold. Don't say, oh, I'll get in touch, unless you really, really have to get in touch because you don't know your details. If you confirm a date there and then, everyone who's there who might also come are like, oh yeah, I can do that date. So it gets that in the calendar. I then talked to my hostess about host flipping. So we've got all our orders in. It's a qualifying party. I can say, right, okay, you've got X amount now. That is enough to put this towards your kit, or actually we've covered the kit for free. If you want to join, all the commission from these orders, I can flip to you. If you want to do that, obviously you don't have to do party flipping, but I always feel like if they're going to join and they've done that hard work of having a party, I want to help them get going in the best way possible. So personally, I do choose to do hostess flipping. So that means you you put the kit in, and there's a little toggle button at the top. When you've put a hostess kit into host credit, it says, do you want to flip this party? And then it tells you how much the commission will be. I think it's like an estimate of commission, but it tells you that so that you know, yep, that's great. That might get them shooting star straight away. And if you're trying to earn the incentive, and I know I'm looking at the incentive now and thinking it is a world away, but the time I earned Hawaii, I literally earned it on the last day on a party. So, you know, don't be put off now because you don't know what's going to happen in the next few months. But that might get them shooting star. Might get them well on the way to shooting star. They might be halfway there by then. So that first 2 weeks of them launching the business might make that a little bit easier. Right, I think that's it. But I honestly just try and keep it as simple as possible. I've done parties where I've taken lots of display. That takes me a lot of time. That's, you know, might take me 45 minutes to set up, 45 minutes to pack away. That's time I want to be at home with my family. So now I really do take a select amount. Like I do in events, I don't take every single thing with me. I take what I think is going to be a good seller. Parties, I'm generally focusing on wax, warmers, fragrance flowers. So if someone, if it's not in their budget at this time to buy a warmer and wax to go with it, they most definitely normally leave with a fragrance flower. So don't leave out your fragrance flowers. But like I said, just don't take one full of oil. Save your next one when it's completely dried out. Save it, and then you've got a display one to take with you, and they can go. You can say, "Oh, this has been open 2 years." I'm like, "Wow, it still smells." So hopefully that has been useful. Bang on 30 minutes now. Thank you for watching. Thank you. And I see the comments. Hi from Australia. Hi. I really hope it has been of some use. Go away, and if you've not done a party yet, book your first party. I promise. The first one's the scariest. Each one just gets easier and easier. You find your own rhythm, you'll find your own pattern, and they will be a lot easier. Okay, much love all.